Hello everyone, this is Sahid and I'm very excited to be back here. And this is where we talk everything migration, infotainment, LD lifestyle, and so on. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so immediately. Like and share our videos, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the all-important notifications so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. So what are we talking about today? Let's get started.
In today's video, we'll be telling you how to get Canadian permanent residency with a low CRS score. Canada is a country in North America. Its 10 provinces and 3 territories extend from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean and northward into the Arctic Ocean, making it the world's second largest country by total area with the world's longest coastline. Its border with the United States is the world's longest international land border. Foreign nationals seeking Canadian permanent residency have several options, even if they have low Comprehensive Ranking System CRS scores in express entry. If you have a low CRS score and don't qualify for any category-based draws, you're unlikely to receive an invitation to apply ITA for permanent residency through Canada's Federal Express Entry System. If you have a low CRS score and want to get PR, you can consider Provincial Nominee Programs PNP, the Atlantic Immigration Program AIP, Family Sponsorship, and Immigration Pilots. Which programs should I be looking at? Number 1. Provincial Nominee Program, which is foreign nationals with an intent to reside in particular province or territory, other than Quebec or Nunavut. It varies depending on the province, with over 80 different streams. Number 2, the Atlantic Immigration Program, which is for foreign nationals with an intent to reside in an Atlantic province with a job offer from an eligible employer. It often requires job offer from an eligible employer. Work experience or education, language requirements. Number 3, our spousal sponsorship, which is for foreign nationals in a marriage, common law, or conjugal relationship with a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. Ensure the sponsor must be your spouse. Number 4, family sponsorship, dependent child, which is for foreign nationals who are dependent children of Canadian citizens and permanent residents. You must ensure sponsor must be your parent. You must be a dependent child. Number 5, a parents and grandparents program, which is for foreign nationals who have an eligible sponsor. Ensure sponsor must be your child or grandchild. Number 6, immigration pilot, which is for foreign nationals who qualify for a specific pilot. This varies depending on the pilot. For the provincial nominee programs, if you have a low Comprehensive Ranking System CRS score and don't have a potential family sponsor and don't qualify for any immigration pilots, going through a PNP program is quite likely to be your best shot at receiving an invitation to apply for Canadian permanent residency under an economic immigration program. To qualify for any PNP program, you must demonstrate an intent to reside in the province or territory to which you're applying for sponsorship and must also meet the specific criteria for that PNP stream, which have been established by the province or territory. All provinces and territories have PNPS, except Nunavut and Quebec. If you're looking to apply to a PNP, it's important to understand that there are 2 types of PNPS, base PNPS and enhanced PNPS. After successfully processing and receive certificate of nomination from a typical province, you will receive 600 additional CRS points on your express entry profile, which will help you get nominated in the federal pool. In the case of base PNPS, you apply directly to the PNP, and if successful, you will receive a certificate of nomination, which you can use to apply to IRCC for PR. Enhanced PNPS, in contrast, integrate with Canada's Federal Express Entry System. To be eligible for an enhanced PNP program, you must qualify for at least one of the 3 Federal Express Entry Managed Economic Immigration Programs, Canadian Experience Class, Federal Skilled Worker, or Federal Skilled Trades. If you are successful with an enhanced PNP, upon receiving your provincial nomination, you'll score the maximum of 600 additional CRS points on your express entry profile, greatly increasing your ranking in the candidate pool. You can receive your invitation to apply ITA directly from IRCC if they select you in an express entry draw. Some PNP streams are purely base streams, others are enhanced, while some others have both a base and enhanced option. The primary advantage to an enhanced PNP is a faster expected processing time of your permanent residence application after you apply to IRCC. Enhanced PNP programs typically have around a 6-month processing time, while base PNPs typically have around a 6-month processing time. How can you apply to a PNP program? If you're considering PNPs, the first step is to determine which stream S for which you're eligible for the provinces in which you have an intent to reside. There are over 80 PNP streams. The streams vary quite a bit depending on the province or territory. Typical aspects for eligibility of PNPs include, but are not limited to, the following: age, education, language proficiency, job offer, occupation, licensing or certification for your occupation, settlement funds, ties to the province, work experience, among others. Once you've done your own research or consulted with an experienced immigration representative to determine which stream S you're eligible for, the next step is to follow the consideration process for that stream. The province sets the consideration process, and these may vary from stream to stream. For some PNP streams, you can apply directly to the PNP whenever you like by submitting a complete application, and if successful, you will receive a provincial nomination. Typically, the streams for which you can apply at will require that you have a job offer in that province or territory. For other PNP streams, you must first receive an invitation from the PNP prior to applying. For those PNP streams which require that candidates first receive an invitation, there are two main kinds: active and passive. Active streams require that the candidate take some action in order to be considered. For example, you may be required to create an account in the province's online system and submit an expression of interest EOI or letter of interest LOI to the province. Depending on the PNP stream, that province may review each and every EOI or LOI submitted and make a decision on each one. Alternatively, upon receiving your EOI or LOI, the PNP may place your profile in a pool of candidates, score your profile based on their own ranking system, and conduct periodic draws in which they issue notifications of interest NOAs, invitations to apply ITAs, or letters of advice to apply LOAs to top-ranking candidates. For passive streams, you do not need to take any special action to be considered. A passive consideration PNP stream integrates with the federal express entry system. The province will review all active express entry profiles that meet the criteria for that passive PNP stream and will select and notify candidates to apply to the PNP for nomination. For the Atlantic Immigration Program, to apply for permanent residence through the Atlantic Immigration Program AIP, you must have a job offer from a designated employer in one of Canada's Atlantic provinces. Canada's Atlantic provinces are New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, New Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. Employers can become designated by applying to the province in which they are located. Each province has its own application process for the designation of employers. If you have a job offer and meet all the other criteria, your employer can apply to the province for a certificate of endorsement, which you'll need in order to apply for permanent residence. You may also be eligible for a 2-year work permit as an AIP nominee. For the spousal sponsorship, if your spouse is a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, they may be able to sponsor you for Canadian permanent residence. Provided that you have the appropriate relation to an eligible sponsor and you are eligible yourself, you can apply directly to IRCC for permanent residence under this program. CIC News has published guides on each of the key steps involved in spousal sponsorship: eligibility, application process, spousal open work permit, and so on. You must be in a genuine relationship to qualify for spousal sponsorship. For family sponsorship, dependent child. If you are the dependent child of a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, they may be able to sponsor you for Canadian permanent residency. As with spousal sponsorship, if you and the sponsor are both eligible, you can apply to IRCC directly.
In general, you are considered a dependent child for immigration purposes if you are under the age of 22, not married, or in a common law relationship. In some cases, you can qualify as a dependent child if you're age 22 or older, provided that you were financially dependent on your parent S prior to the age of 22 and you remain financial dependent on your parent S due to a mental or physical condition. You must meet the definition of a dependent child for the entire duration of the processing of the application. Dependent children of dependent children may also be sponsored. For family sponsorship, parents and grandparents program, if you're the parent or grandparent of a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, your parent or grandparent may be able to sponsor you for permanent residence. Unlike family sponsorship for spouses and children, however, being able to apply for PR under the Parents and Grandparents Program (PGP) is not a sure thing. You must first submit an interest to sponsor form and then wait to be invited under a lottery system. The PGP received its maximum number of allotted interest to sponsor submissions in 2020, after which IRCC ceased to accept interest to sponsor submissions. All invitations sent from 2020 to 2024 have been in response to the 2020 intake. Should the management of the program carry on in accordance with past events, obtaining an invitation to apply for PR under the PGP program may prove both time-consuming and difficult. You need not gain PR status for extended visits to Canada, however. If you are a parent or grandparent of a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, you can take advantage of the Super Visa to visit your family members for up to 5 years at a time.
For immigration pilots, the Canadian government runs immigration pilots, which can also provide pathways to permanent residence for eligible foreign nationals. As with the PNP, there are many different immigration pilots, and you'll have to do your own research or consult with an experienced immigration representative to determine which pilot programs are currently operating for which you may be eligible. Current federal pilot programs at the time of writing include the Agri-Food Pilot. For the Agri-Food Pilot, the federal government has announced its intention to launch a new caregiver program pilot, but has not yet released details on eligibility or when this program is expected to launch. Immigration pilot are temporary programs by definition. When the government announces a given pilot program, they typically also announce an end date for the program. If the program reaches its end date and is not renewed, the pathway goes away. Successful pilots can become permanent pathways to PR. The Atlantic Immigration Program and the Rural Canadian Immigration Class are examples of permanent programs which have come out of successful pilots. If you're eligible for a pilot program, be sure that you follow the exact process for consideration and avoid any errors in your application, and that you meet all deadlines for consideration for the program. If a pilot program closes before you can be considered, there is no guarantee that you'll gain another opportunity to apply to it. And that brings us to the end of today's video regarding how to get Canadian permanent residency with a low CRS score, as well as all the step-by-step details. If you found this information valuable and you're eager for more most updated information and immigration tips to successfully migrate, then kindly like and share our videos and subscribe to this channel. Then don't forget to hit the notification button to have all our future videos. If you need help, however, with specifics or individualized services in particular, please feel free to contact us by electronic mail, and let's create this success story together. Thank you, and see you at the next video.